And today we're talking about an interesting topic, imposter syndrome. I'm sure some people might be wondering, what is that? Stay tuned, you get to know. Hi everyone, my name is Oreoluwa Adekoya and I'd like to welcome you to Tikkytalks. Tikkytalks is that space where we talk about career, businesses, how to navigate the workplace and getting ahead with all the challenges that we see in today's world. Imposter syndrome, what is it actually? Imposter syndrome is simply feeling like you don't deserve to be where you are. And maybe very soon, some people will discover that you are not that good. You are not that smart. You really don't know what you're doing, right? Maybe it's just luck that you got to where you are and people are knowing you and knowing your name and all that. And truly soon, somebody will find out that this babe doesn't know what she's doing. And guess what? It happens to the best of us, the very best of us. Oh, there was a statement I heard from one of my makeup artists, and it was so profound. She talked about positive imposter syndrome. And I was like, what are you talking about? Imposter syndrome is negative in all ramifications. And then she said, she's a makeup artist, she's an engineer actually, and she varied into makeup, I know. And then she got a role at work that she didn't deserve, and she started getting imposter syndrome. And she told herself that, okay, the fact that I'm getting imposter syndrome means that there's room to grow, there's room to learn. So there's something that I haven't learned and I need to develop myself in this thing. And rather than becoming depressed about it, sad about it and all, she said, okay, it's just a room to grow. And she told me something. She said, if I ever get into a position where I'm comfortable and where I can do the role, without any pressure or anything, then I've outgrown that role. Then I'm too big for that role. So you constantly need to put yourself in a position where you are being spurred, you are being pushed, You feel like you don't know enough and you need to keep learning. The question is, what are you doing with that feeling? Are you getting depressed about it and saying, oh God, I don't know this thing? But are you actually doing something about it? And so the first thing I'd like to say today is recognize that every single person on earth has strengths and has weaknesses. And you are not an exception. You have your own strengths, you have your own weaknesses, right? So what are you doing about your strength? Celebrate your strengths, acknowledge your strength. Something that we are good at in this part of the world. When someone says something good about us, we try to downplay. Also, you look so beautiful. I like your dress. Oh, I bought it from Yabao. How much did I buy it? 10K. It was nothing. No. When people praise you, accept it. Take it. Oh, thank you. You look lovely. Thank you. Oh, I like the way you did that presentation. Oh, really? Thank you. And then take note. Sometimes you might be so downbeat that you're wondering to yourself, what are my strengths? Are my strengths truly my strengths, or are they things that I've portrayed to other people that they are? And this is where you need to listen to your close circle, the people around you. What are the things that 1, 2, 3 people are saying around you? They can't all be wrong. They have seen something in you, right? So listen to that thing that they are saying and acknowledge it that, oh, I'm actually good at this. It means that they themselves cannot do it to the level that you do. But the fact that you have currently done it at a certain level, it means that there's something there. Now, it may not be developed to the level that you want it to, but there's a foundation to build on. Some people don't even have any foundation to build on, right? So you have something and acknowledge it and celebrate it and decide that I will work on this thing. I will strengthen this strength until it becomes superb, right? That should be your job. The second thing is acknowledge that you have weaknesses and you also need to work on those weaknesses, right? And so those weaknesses, get to know people, okay, who has this weakness, who has overcome something like this, or who is the person that is so opposite, that is so good in this thing that I'm so bad at. What can I learn from them? How can I improve myself? Your weakness will probably never be a strength, right? But you can improve on it so that your weakness doesn't define you. And then remember, everyone makes mistakes. So yes, you made a big blunder, you sent the wrong file, you did something that cost the company money and blah, blah, blah. Hey, get over it. Get over it. Every single person makes mistakes, and that mistake does not define you. The fact that you made one mistake does not define you. The most important thing is, did you learn the lesson that you were supposed to learn after you made that mistake? Or are you making the same mistake over and over and over again and wallowing in self-pity and depression? Oh, I'm not good and all that. It's because you are not learning. Your mistakes are opportunities to learn. Learn from it. Okay, so I did it this way and it didn't turn out well. All right, this is an opportunity for me to do it better. This is an opportunity for me to develop this thing and get better. Remember, the aim is not to turn a weakness into a strength. The aim is to make your weakness get better. Get better. Celebrate your strengths as well. I remember one time when I went somewhere, and then it was kind of like I was doing a visit to one of the markets that I cover, and then I went to see someone that was in that market, and then as I walked in, I remember that this person sized me up, looked me up and down, and sized me up and said, "Oh," and of course, looked at the way I appeared. I don't have a big frame, I look smallish and all that, yeah. But and then I saw that the way she started talking to me, she started talking to me in a derogatory manner, and I'm like, okay, yes, and of course I held my own. I said what I needed to say and all that. She tried to imply that, oh, she can't talk to me, I should talk to her assistant and all that. And I'm like, I wasn't going to do that. And what I did was I went to her boss and I explained to her boss, like, oh, this. And her boss said, you know what? Forget about her, sideline her. And he gave me another method to go, to achieve what I wanted to achieve. Guess what? A few weeks down the line, I heard that this person has been let go from the company. And I laughed. And I said, so this is the person that I would otherwise have gotten depressed about. I would have gotten sad about, because she made me feel like, oh, I wasn't all that, and then I didn't deserve to be where I had gotten to and all that. But guess what? This person was let go. She was let go from the organization. So where is she? At least in the organization. Yes, it doesn't mean that she will never do well in life and all that. Yeah, she could be doing better, but hey, she doesn't have that impact on me anymore. I'm probably never going to cross paths with her again. So why are you getting depressed over somebody that has so little influence over your life, right? Somebody might have said something. Somebody might have said something derogatory, and sometimes imposter syndrome is self-imposed. You just don't feel like you're good enough. You just don't feel like you're all that, right? But you need to tell yourself, I'm all that. I'm all that. I am strong. I am beautiful. I am talented. I am skilled. I got this. I can do this. You need to tell yourself that. I can do this. Square your shoulders, right? I'm good at this. I got it, right? Don't let emotions get the better part of you, and then, you start wallowing in self-pity and pitying yourself. Let me ask you a question. So what's that going to solve? So you feel like you don't need to be in a position that you've got into. You feel like you're not that good. You feel like there are other people that are better than you. So what? Yeah, so what? So if you feel that way, then how is that going to change anything? How is feeling bad going to change anything? It does nothing. Absolutely nothing. You actually need to pick yourself up from that emotional state. Pick yourself up and start doing something that you can do to change the situation. Start strengthening your strengths and then start working on your weaknesses. Again, you don't want to be a baby at work, and I call that in quotes, being a baby. You don't want to. I see people that when something happens at work, and then before you know it, they are crying, and I said, don't try that. You can cry at work, but cry in the toilet, right? Yes, something got to you, something, you did something wrong, you didn't do it well and all that, you're questioning yourself and blah, blah, blah. Please don't cry in front of your boss. Don't cry in front of your colleagues. What still, don't cry in front of your subordinates. Go to a room, cry it out. Go to the toilet or a meeting room or something, cry your eyes out and all that, and come out, clean your face, swipe your hair back, hold your head straight and say, I got this. I got this. I'm good at this thing. There was a time when I made a mistake at work. I think I shared the wrong numbers or something. I can't remember. It was such a long time ago, and then I was like, oh my God, I'm in trouble. What's going to happen? And then I just remember this scripture. The name of the Lord is a strong tower. The righteous run to it and they're saved. And I said, God, I run to you. God, I run to you. God, I run to you. I don't know how you deliver me from this situation, but God, I run to you. You deliver me. And guess what? I got over it. Like, I think about, looking back at my career, I think about all those things that I thought would be the end of me. I think about all those things that they look so big. I remember 2020. I remember praying and telling God, God, if you can deliver me from this 2020, you can deliver me from anything. It seemed so tough that year. That year I had issues. There were just things happening. Of course, the COVID year, and then working in supply chain, right? There were all sorts of things, some shipments were not coming, some stocks, some materials and all that. And then every day you just keep hearing news, oh, this happened, that happened, that happened. And it was like everything was happening at the same time. And it was starting to look like, oh, I wasn't competent and all that there were so many issues, right? And then I told God, I said, God, if you can deliver me from this thing, if you can save me from this year, 2020, if I can survive 2020, I can survive any year. And guess what? Were the years after 2020 better? No, they were worse. But I told myself that if I could go through that year and come out of it, right? If I could go through that year and still succeed, there's nothing I can't go through. Especially people in my generation that they feel that, oh, we are getting old, nothing is entering again. Yeah, you don't have to go back to school, but can you read something? Can you follow a podcast, right? Can you get a book? Can you ask questions? What's happening? I'm hearing this AI thing. This AI is not AI. Like, what? Come and tell me what's stopping with it and all that. There's so many things. Watch short videos. Go to YouTube. Let's learn something new, right? But always ensure that you keep yourself abreast of the things that are happening in the field you find yourself in. Always be abreast and be aware of the changes that are happening so that you're never caught napping, right? Finally, I'd like to say, don't let your weaknesses be exploited. Yes, in as much as imposter syndrome can come from you, right? It can also come from external sources, like people who try to put your weaknesses in your face and say, okay, you did this, you did wrong and everything. Yeah, that's why you need to stand up for yourself and say, you will not take this, right? You're not going to accept, being talked down on, being nagged and all that, right? And of course, you must ensure that you are getting yourself to a place where you're better. For instance, let's say that you have an issue with anger and someone knows, oh, if I'm in a meeting and if I want to divert from the actual point being, and these things happen. They happen a lot of times. So imagine you're in a board meeting, right? And a certain person is making a good point or highlighting an area of challenge where another person is in charge of. But that other person doesn't want to look weak in front of the board, right? And then he decides to say something that gets this other person upset, and then the whole direction of the meeting changes. Why? You have stepped on a weakness of it. It's like stepping on an injury and causing more pain, and then this person explodes, right? So you need to know and be aware of your weaknesses, but do not let your weaknesses be exploited. Rather, you work on them to a point where they are no longer weaknesses. Of course, they won't be strengths, but you're comfortable, they don't drag you back anymore. You have gotten better and you have improved yourself on it. I hope you've been able to learn a thing or two today about what imposter syndrome is and how you can turn it from a negative thing to a positive thing, right? Simply by asking yourself, what do I need to learn? How do I need to truly attain into this position that I find myself and truly own it and truly get better and, manage and own my space, basically. Thank you so much for joining us today. Until the next time we see you on Tikkytalks, it's Ore signing out.